Peace and blessings, kings and queens, and welcome back to my channel. I first want to thank you for clicking on my video because you didn't have to, but as always, I am so glad that you did. So guys, I am doing a video, overdue videos. Most of my videos are well overdue because I am behind on schedule and I am being lazy and procrastinating because in a previous video, I have a spirit of procrastination on my life that I have been trying and battling with and trying to get over. But I'm pushing forward. So this video is basically an update video on how I moved back to Maryland. And hopefully if somebody's thinking about relocating, they can look at my video. I have a video that I did on how I moved to Florida. So I will link that somewhere where you guys can check that out if you're thinking about relocating. And maybe these videos will kind of give you an idea on what you are facing and hopefully it will help you. So to kind of do a quick overview. I lived in Florida from 2018 to 2023. When I first moved to Florida, I did not think I would ever move back to Maryland. I went down there because my son's father got an opportunity to work down there. And him and his, at the time, fiance, they moved down to Florida to start their life over and to, because of that great opportunity that he had. And I said that I would move down there too, because I'm thinking to myself at the time, how is he going to see our son together? And, you know, I was in a point in my life where I was like, I was looking for a change. I was not happy in the situation that I was in at the time. And I was like, okay, why not? And like I mentioned in that video from how I moved to Florida, real quick, I just cashed out my 401, any savings that I had, and then I just moved. It took a year for me to save up to a place where I felt comfortable being able to move to Florida and be okay. So fast forward to September, was it September? I think September, yeah, it was September of 2022, living in Florida, living in a trailer. Hurricane Ian came by and said, nope, I got different plans for you. You're going back to Maryland. We're going to get you back up to Maryland. And, you know, I think it was more so in God's plan for me to move back to Maryland. Florida has definitely ran its course. I was really just becoming so isolated, and I'm an introvert, and sometimes being that isolated is not good for even the most reclusive of introverts. And I'm really like a reclusive person. I don't have to be around people. I'm perfectly fine being by myself. That is not good for my son because he's more of an extrovert type person. So definitely being here in Maryland is very beneficial for him. But yeah, so Hurricane Ian happened, and at first I thought I was going to be okay. My trailer was still standing. There was some flooding, but overall the structure of the trailer was fine. But over time, that salt water just started eating away at my trailer. My floors were becoming just unbearable. And when the opportunity came where I could either fix my floors or, you know, redo the trailer, I decided to just, it's time to go home. Being in Florida ran its course. I was missing out on so many things that my family was, you know, having, and, you know, I was just missing out on so much. And the whole time I was in Florida, I did not see my mom. Since 2018, I have not seen my mom. So moving back to Maryland has allowed me to spend some time with her, talk to her more, see her more, and, you know, close that hole that was in my heart. Being able to laugh and joke with my niece and my nephew, my son being able to be exposed to other people besides mommy, and them also being a parental figure in his life, because my niece and nephew are adults, they're grown. But how I moved to Maryland. So, FEMA did come in and offered assistance for me. And like I said, I could have either fixed up my trailer and then stayed in Florida, or just come on back home. And that's what I decided to do. So I took that assistance that they gave me, and I, planned and set things up and prepared and did all the things, did research and all the stuff, and I moved back home. I was going to rent a moving truck. You see that all the time, moving truck. You can get a moving truck to move your stuff across country. They can come in, pack your stuff up and move, right? I don't want nobody going through my stuff. I can pack my own stuff up. But I did call them because I was like, all you have to do is just move my stuff. I could do everything else. Don't you know these people told me it was going to cost $9,000 to move from Florida to Maryland. Now, when I came down initially from Maryland to Florida, I just came down with the clothes on my back. It was just me and a suitcase and a gray suit, because I knew I was going to have interviews. So I wore the gray suit down. I had like 2 pairs of shorts, some underwear and t-shirt, and a pair of shoes. I was like I had very minimum. I had nothing. I came down here literally with the clothes on my back. So coming to Florida was about $300. But when she was like, yeah, it's going to be $9,000. And I can even hear it in her own voice that she was like, this chick ain't going to go for this. I can't even believe I'm parting my mouth to say it. But I was like, oh no, no, thank you. I said, I'll let you know. And then I start researching other stuff, and I came across Pods, Pods. And that's like that little shed that you see in some people's driveways. It's white, and I did like a short of it arriving, and that cost me about $2,200. So that's a big difference from $9,000 down to $2,200 just to drive my, ship my stuff here. Now, the perks that the driving company was saying was, we'll drive it right to your door. We're not going to have anybody else's stuff in the truck, with yours. And, we're going to guarantee it. I'm like, all that guarantee and all that stuff is not worth $9,000. It is not. But yeah, so what they did with Pods was, when you decide to sign up with them, you put down $100 for your deposit, and then they break it down in 3 different payments. So you have your first payment the day of when the Pods arrive, and they break it however, because it's different prices. It's not $2,200 for every person everywhere going different places. That was my estimate. They give you an estimate depending on the mileage and where you're going. So keep that in mind. So they broke it down into 3 payments. I take that back. So the first, it wasn't a payment, but it was the deposit. Then the second payment was a larger lump sum. And then, and that's when they dropped off the pod. And then when they were dropping off the pod, it was a smaller payment. And then when they were picking up the pod, they charged me again for the overall total being 22 and some change. And everything went fine. If you're going to use Pod and you are going to go to an apartment or something like that, make sure you get the rental office approval. The rental office around here, when I got, I had my sister contacted them. They was like, yeah, as long as it's gone within 24 hours, it'll be fine. And it went off without a hitch. It was some people around there. You have some people who just want to feel like they're in charge. Gave the driver who was dropping off the pod, they tried to give him a little bit of a hard time, saying that that's not supposed to be around here, even though I got permission from the manager of the rental of the complex. It's like, yeah, as long as it's gone within 24 hours, and it was. So he dropped it off. And backing up a little bit. So I got the pod, and then I also hired people to pack up my pod, because a lot of moving around and picking stuff up. I have a little bit of a back issue, and I just did not feel like having to carry boxes to and from. So packing up my pods, little shipping container, I hired a company to do that. And then unloading it here in Maryland, I had another company do the same thing, unload it and put it in the apartment. And both companies, so the one in Florida was $450, and I'm just giving you a rough estimate, it was like $450, and the one here was like around the same, like $4 something. Which I think is money well spent. Both companies, I used College Hunks in Maryland, and I used a company, My Three Sons or something like that in Maryland. Both companies did phenomenal jobs. The pod gentleman did a phenomenal, everything was perfect. And I'm like, still did not equal up to $9,000. Nope. So yeah, that's what I did. So I took the assistance from FEMA and I relocated. So overall, my total relocation from from Florida to Maryland was about $4,000. And that's just me throwing in extra money. Just the plane tickets. We stayed in a hotel the night before, food, buying little accessories and stuff like that. I would say about close to four, not even four, maybe like 3,500 for everything. So yeah, that's how I made it back to Maryland. Like I said in my past video, if you're thinking about relocating, if it's in your mind, some people can do things on a whim. I am not that person. I like to plan. I would at least say, do your research, take a year to plan and save your money. I'm thankful that my job in Florida transferred with me, so I didn't have to look for another job. But when I was coming to Florida, I had no job. So guys, check out that video on how I moved to Florida. It's really insightful. And like I said, I just came to Florida with the clothes on my back, no job. I truly winged it during that time. But coming back is a little bit more stable for me. And like I said, my job transferred with me. I was out of work for about a week. I shipped my computer and I shipped my monitors through regular United States Postal. I shipped my monitors and I carried my laptop with me because I didn't want anything to happen to my laptop. So yeah, so all that stuff showed up. I left on the 3rd, got here the same day on the 3rd at 1 o'clock, and I started working. I actually took off the 1st. So from the 1st to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So the 7th, I was back at working again and had everything set up. So yeah. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. I will try to answer them the best that I can. Just like I said, plan, figure out where you want to live, think about jobs, think about how these apartments are working right now. I am thankful enough that I am living with family and we're kind of all splitting the cost. So, you know, we're helping each other out. But take all those things into consideration when you are trying to move. If you don't have much, you got rid of everything, you could definitely relocate, you know, without having to go through pods and having anybody ship your stuff, like I did when I first moved to Florida. So again, before I start rambling, because you know I can, I'll talk to you guys later, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Keep your head up if you're going through anything. This too shall pass. Be blessed.